Which leads me into a really good point that we were talking about as coaches, is that synchro is a long game sport. It is not one of the sports where you can just kind of show up as a little kid and start doing. You have to have so many skills in order to get there. It is a long game sport. Coming first in 10 and under will not earn you a berth onto the Olympic team. And coming last in 10 and under does not mean you should go try another sport. So we need to make sure that as a group, coaches and parents, that we do not get so focused on the results. We need to make sure that over time, we are looking at these athletes, looking at everything else they're getting by being here. The juniors are running today, and they've struggled with the first thing. And I was on the microphone going, time management, juniors, time management, because they weren't getting it done. They're like, how do we do it faster? Amy's walking over and say, well, what would be a good way to do this? And then off they go, new skill learned. How to trust themselves in competition, how to work hard, how to learn to stop telling yourself how terrible you are all the time, how to be part of a team, how to perform in front of a group, how nerve-wracking. Like the stuff they do is amazing that most of us probably would never even attempt. So these are the things that they're getting, and they are way more important than their score. I'll tell you, I come from speed swimming. I cannot tell you my fastest time. I have no recollection. I don't even remember at this point in my life, I don't even remember what meet I achieved it at, let alone what the time was. But I can tell you who my best coaches were. I can tell you the life lessons that I learned, and I know what kind of person it turned me into. Oh, and I remember one coach I really didn't like. So those are the things I remember. And the skills it gave me to get through high school and to get through university and to get through, those are the skills that have carried me on. Not my time in my 50 freestyle. No one cares what my 50 free time was, let alone me, clearly, since I can't remember it. And I can use some really great examples around here. Laura, who coaches one of our 13 to 15 HP teams. I coached Laura from 10 and under all the way up to the last year of junior. So she had to spend a long time with me, which is, probably really concerning for her. There was 10 years of her life she'll never get back. She was often alternate, never had an extra routine. And she was that little engine that could. She never spiked in performance once in those 10 years. Slowly over time, we climbed that mountain so slow, and we stood in the pre-electronic age. After national team trials of the year she turned 18, I stood on deck with her somewhere out west, I think, waiting. Used to stand there for 2, 3, 4 hours while they did the results, and then they walked up to you and gave you an envelope. And posted it on the wall. We waited and waited and waited and waited. And it was her first national team she made. She'd never made Team Ontario. She just skipped never made it. And went right on to Team Canada at 18 years old, and then spent 6 more years on the senior national team. Alternate, no extra routines, never been on Team Ontario. True story, because I stood there. When I got that yellow envelope and I went back to look through it, on the first cut, they took the top 20 into the next process. Good thing Laura didn't know. I may have never talked her off the bridge. She came 19th. So even after phase 1, she was in 19th place. But we just kept going through that process the whole time. I kept saying, you're going to be fine. Pull it together. You're okay. Go do it. You're going to be fine. Pull it together. You're okay. Let's go. They used to take 2 and 3 days. Yeah. And she ended up in the top 10. Even though after phase 1, she was still sitting in 19th. So there are a lot of great examples around here that your athletes can be learning from. Jen Nobbs would be another one. Another great. Her story is amazing. Amy's story is amazing. Amy moved here to swim at the Olympium from Peterborough at 16. That's how I met her, and lived with one of my best friends so that she could train here. And got herself a berth on to, I don't think you'd ever been on a provincial team at that point.
Provincial teams didn't exist.
Just to give give you an idea.
Yeah.
So
Wasn't a thing.
praise the effort, let the results take care of themselves over time. And when they get to be my age and filled with gray hair, they won't remember the results anyways. It'll be about the lessons that they learned along the way.